Okay, so the question today is, what layout should I use in my OET letter? Now look, people ask me this all the time when they start writing OET letters, so the best way for me to answer this is just to show you an example. Okay, so here is an example of an OET letter with good layout, and I'll just talk you through this now in a bit more detail. Okay, so you can see at the start here we have the date, all right? And I'll talk a bit more about that shortly, okay? But underneath the date we have the address here. And notice there's the person's name at the top. Okay, then we have what's called a salutation here. Okay, so dear Mrs. Jackson. I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. And then we have what's called the RE line, or the regarding line. So regarding, then we've got the name, then we've got the age, and then we've got the paragraphs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 in this letter. Sometimes you're going to need 4, you might need 5, you might need 3. It depends on the letter, okay? But notice the spacing here, okay? There's different ways to space paragraphs, but I highly recommend this style. This is the best style for paragraph spacing. Leave one line between each paragraph. Very simple, okay? And it's the most popular and the most common, and it looks the best, to be honest. All right, now let's look at the sign off here, okay? So a couple of things about this. If I wanted to improve this letter, actually this layout, I would move the sincerely yours down one line. So very often we leave 2 lines here, okay? But that's not really that important. I don't think you'll lose any marks for that, but it's common to leave 2 lines here, all right? So I would, if I had to change anything, I would change this. This is a real letter from one of my students. Now, of course, you can just write nurse here if you want, or you can just put your name. Now, sincerely, okay, sincerely yours, that's usually used if we know the person we're writing to. So again, this is probably not the best sign off, okay, in this case. Okay? If we do know the person, we've met them before, okay, then we can use yours sincerely. It's okay, all right? Now, don't get obsessed with this. It's not really that important, okay? You know, you should get it right, but I think there's so many more important things than this. Okay, now let's go back to the top here. Now, people always ask me, with the date, they say, can I have that below the address here? And the answer is yes, okay? You can have it above the address or below. No problem, no difference. Just make sure you leave a gap, leave a line in between, all right? Okay, when it comes to the salutation, people often ask me, what if I don't have the reader's name? What shall I say? Okay. In that case, you can just say dear sir or madam. All right, if you don't know them, that's what you can do there. All right. Now, with regards to this line here, the regarding line, some people like to put this here, above the salutation. That's okay, that's no problem, okay? So it can go below or it can go above the salutation. Again, you have some freedom here. All right. With regards to the patient's name, a quick word on the patient's name. Notice here it's we can use 2 different things when it comes to a female. Okay, we're usually going to say Mrs. or Ms. Okay, if the person is unmarried, we often say Miss. Okay, but let me just explain the difference between these. Mrs. This one means married. Okay, Ms. That means it's unknown and it's not important. So that's, in a way, the most formal one you can use, okay? You won't offend anyone that way, okay? Miss we use for someone unmarried and probably young as well. They'd have to be young, okay? I would stick, if you're ever unsure, use MS, okay? That means we don't know, it's not important, and it's very formal, all right? People often ask me as well when it comes to the patient, they say, what if it's a baby? For example, there's some famous case notes for doctors, and the baby is called Joshua Vance. Well, should I say Mr. Joshua Vance? The answer is no, okay? And there's 2 options with a baby. You can use just the first name, okay? But that would be in the letter. So in the body of the letter here, you could say Joshua, Joshua, Joshua. But here in the regarding line, you just use the full name as normal, but no Mr., just the full name, okay? That's probably the best way to deal with that. Okay, so that is your layout. That's what it's supposed to look like. You know, one thing that I just want to say as a tip, just to finish this video, is, you know, a lot of students, when they start OET, they get really worried about layout, okay? And, you know, I've taught OET for many years now, and I really don't think it's that important, okay? Remember, you're going to get a score in the exam for layout and organization. Okay? Organization is much more important than layout. Much more important. By organization, I mean the paragraphs. How you structure your paragraphs. Introduction, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, etc., etc. And in this course, we'll be focusing a lot on organization. Okay? But that's how to do a good layout. It looks something like this, and I'll see you in the next video.